let us discuss the parasitic devices in our power MOSFET. Actually, in this figure we can have two parasitic elements or devices, we can say. This is our NPN transistor and this is our diode. So if I considering the power MOSFET, then we are having two parasitic devices are there, parasitic BJT and parasitic diode. Let us consider this parasitic BJT first. So we are having the N plus, P and N minus. Here this N plus is your emitter, P is your base and N minus is your collector. Here this yellow layer is your emitter, this pink layer P is your base and this green layer is your collector. What happened? If this will be a transistor, then it will be like this: collector, emitter, arrow is like this, and BJT, B, base of this BJT. This metallic contact, source contact, short circuited this N layer and pink P layer. Here you can see here this metallic contact given in the source terminal. This short circuited the N plus layer and P layer. That means this E and base is short circuited here. That means both of these terminal at the same potential. So that means this parasitic BJT is under the cutoff region. Always it is in cutoff region. On other side, if you are considering the parasitic diode which is formed here, it will be like this, So actually it is a structure of power diode, P, N minus, N plus. So it will be like this. If you are going towards the symbolic representation, this is your gate, this is your N channel, so this is your MOSFET, this is your drain, this is your source. So current is flowing from drain to source, okay, and this power this power diode is represented like this. It is connected in anti-parallel. It is called a MOSFET body diode. So all the power MOSFET is represented like this. The MOSFET with a body diode. It is called a body diode. Body diode. So in all circuits, in all power circuits, if you are using the power MOSFET, always you can see this body diode is always connected in parallel, anti-parallel. So that means this body diode will affect their reverse voltage blocking capability. Reverse voltage blocking capability. This body diode will affect their reverse voltage blocking capability because anti-parallel diode is connected. So that means our power MOSFET is never going to be block the reverse voltage. In other words, we can say that the power MOSFET doesn't have a reverse voltage blocking capacity. It will block the forward voltage, it will conduct in the forward side, but it will never going to be block the reverse voltage because of this body diode. Okay, moving towards the IGBT. So let us start our lecture number 6 and discussing the IGBT. Today's topic. So before going to the IGBT, firstly we are explaining you the IGBT packaging, how we are finding this IGBT in the market. This is the IGBT module. It can be in the black shade also, in white shade also. It is called the IGBT module. You can find the 2 or 3 or 4 module. There is another IGBT module. It is called intelligent power module. It is also having the 6 IGBTs. This is our MOSFET or BJT packaging. Leftmost side is gate, middle terminal is collector, and rightmost side is your emitter. It is 15 and 120 IGBT. This is the same thing, IGBT. This is the SMD format of packaging, surface mounting devices, GB02 and 120 IGBT. So in the market, if you are going to purchase the BT, you will find this kind of devices. What is IGBT? IGBT is insulated gate bipolar transistor. It combines the property of BJT and MOSFET. So we can consider it, BJT is this IGBT is BJT plus MOSFET. It is also called a conductivity modulated field effect transistor, COMFET. It is also called gain modulated field effect transistor, GEMFET, and the metal oxide insulated gate transistor, MOS-IGT. So more simplified structure of this IGBT can be represented as one N-channel MOSFET plus NPN transistor connected in this fashion. Symbolic representation of IGBT is represented as gate, collector and emitter. BJT plus insulated gate. If you are looking towards the layer diagram of this IGBT, it will be like, it is similar just to a power MOSFET, but the main difference is that in the MOSFET we are using the N plus substrate. In the IGBT here we are using the P plus substrate. This is the main difference. This P plus layer is acting as an injection layer which injects the holes into the drift region. Here we are having the different layers. IGBT is having 3 junctions and 4 layer device. Starting from the collector side, it is having the injection layer, P plus, then drift layer N minus, then body of P layer, then diffused regions of N plus. This is the structure of IGBT, and on the topmost side it is insulated by a SiO2 layer. Then this SiO2 layer is etched to make the emitter contact, and it is etched little bit in order to make a insulated gate. Now coming to the functioning of this IGBT, it can work as a switch when we are connecting to the common emitter configuration. Here emitter is common terminal to the input and output, both. Now in this side, collector and emitter is working as a power circuit or load circuit, and the gate to emitter circuit is your control circuit. When we are having the positive voltage to the collector side and negative voltage to the emitter side, and load is connected to the emitter to collector circuit, and with no voltage is applied to the gate, then it is under the open circuit condition. That means it will not allow to flow the current from the collector to emitter. That means you are not having any kind of current in the load circuit. If you are applying the positive voltage here, that means if you are connecting this positive terminal of this battery to the collector, and this is your load, and other terminal, that means negative terminal of this battery is connected to the emitter, this completes your load circuit, but it will not having the current until unless you are not applying the voltage here. If you are applying a positive voltage here, then it induces a channel. It induces a channel here in the P region, which allow the flow of current from the collector to emitter. That means with no gate voltage your device is off. With some positive voltage your current build-up will start and it will act as a closed switch. Now coming to the equivalent circuit model of this IGBT. From this figure it is very clear that we are having the two BJTs here. One BJT is forming here N plus, P and N minus, and other BJT is your this P layer, N minus layer and P plus layer. So that means we are having the two BJTs here. One BJT is having the, if it is represented like Q2, then it will be N plus, P, N minus. But again here you can see this is shorted, these two layers are shorted here. N plus layer and P layer is shorted by the metallic contact of emitter. That means again this Q2 is under the cutoff region. Other side, coming to the Q1, this is P plus, N minus and again P. So this P plus is your emitter, N is your base, and this N layer is represented as RD, resistance of drift region. This body layer resistance is represented as RB, resistance of the body, and this is your N channel MOSFET, where two layers are diffused, N plus layer are diffused, and P is your body. So that means if you are trying to represent in the circuit form, it will look like this. we are having the two BJTs Q1 and Q2, but Q2 is a cut-off state, so we can neglect it. So Q1, it is your PNP transistor, it is your NPN transistor. This is resistance of the body, this is resistance of the drift region, and this is your N-channel MOSFET. Simplify this circuit by neglecting the two IGBTs are more thermally stable. PT type IGBTs are less rugged in the short circuit failure mode. On other side, the non-punch through IGBTs are more rugged towards the short circuit failure mode. Punch through IGBTs, the collector is heavily doped. Collector means substrate layer, P-type layer is heavily doped. On other side, the non-punch through IGBTs, this substrate P is lightly doped in compared to the PT type IGBTs. PT type IGBTs are having the small positive temperature coefficient, hence the parallel operation requires lot of care and attention. On other side, the non-punch through IGBTs, the temperature coefficient is very strongly positive, that means it is having the large positive temperature coefficient, hence we are having the easier operation if we are going to perform it like a parallel operation. Turn off losses more as here in the PT side because it is a temperature sensitive. On the high temperature, the turn off loss is greater because the turn off time is larger. On other side, the non-punch through IGBTs, the turn off time doesn't depend upon the temperature, that means it is a less temperature sensitive. Although non-punch through IGBTs are capable of very fast turn off time, but they are suffering from the relatively high saturation voltage drop. When this IGBT is conducting, IGBT has to work in the saturation region, and under this saturation region the IGBT is having some kind of VCE voltage, that is called a saturation voltage drop across this. Non-punch through IGBTs are capable of very fast turn off time, but they suffer from the relatively high saturation voltage, that means there will be a voltage when it is on and it is neglecting, but there will be a voltage drop. In comparison to punch through type, non-punch through type is having the larger voltage when it is under the saturation. So this has limit their suitability for higher voltage rating devices. If we are going towards the higher voltage side, greater than 1200 volt ratings, it will have a limit. Here, the transfer characteristic means that it is a variation of collector currents as a function of VGE. Variation of collector current as a function of VGE, that means gate to emitter voltage. As your gate to emitter voltage is greater than the threshold voltage VGET, you will find that it will start conducting. The collector to emitter circuit is start conducting, and you will find the collector current at the load circuit or collector circuit. As long as we are increasing the VGE, you will find the current is going to be increased. Your IGBT is behaving like an open switch. On other side, if your IGBT is working like a closed switch, that means it is working here in the saturation region, just like a BJT, that means fully on. Under this condition, IC is equal to VCC divided by the circuit resistance. and the VCE is equal to 0.2 volts or something like this. Saturation voltage VCE sat. And VG is having the rated value or greater than the threshold value. So if you are try to work this IGBT as a switch, you will have the 2 points, one is here and another is here. Now we are going to discuss about the switching characteristics of IGBT. As you can see here, switching characteristic means we are going to plot the parameters against to the time. Here we have plotted a VGE, this is our VGE versus time, and VCE and ICE versus time. You can see here, as VG is greater than V threshold, our VCE collector voltage start dropping, this is start dropping, and our collector current is going to be increased. Okay, so when it attains a rated value, when VGE attains its rated value, what we find, IC attains its rated value. Before to this attain this final value, we are having the T on. T on time is having two components, T delay and T rise. That means time delay, delay time, TD is your delay time and TR is your rise time. From this plot you can see this TD plus TR is your T-on. Now coming to the T off. This TD and TR usually you will find this kind of devices. So when we are having the voltage and current for some duration, if you are multiplying the this voltage and current, you will find the power loss during the turn on. As correspondingly you will also find the V into I as a power loss during the turn off. The main thing is that here in this plot you will find when it is going to be turn off, you will find the trail current. This is the phenomena of trail current. You will find a trail current. Why? Because your collector current is having two components. It is due to the electrons plus holes. Although we are going to consider IC is much contribution towards the electron side, but we are having the some kind of hole current also, and that means there is a concept of minority charges. So that means the minority charge carrier should be recombined, and for that recombination we have some kind of time required, and that is because of this you will find the trail current is taking last time to dead it out. Okay, that's why trail current. Previously it was a sudden variation towards the zero side, and now it is having some kind of gradual. So that is called a trail current. Okay. So IGBTs, there is a finite time needed for the minority carriers to recombine in the drift region even after the applied voltage VGE has reduced below the threshold voltage. So that is the reason. Now we are going towards a performance evaluation between the three most usable power electronic switches: IGBT, power MOSFET and power BJT. Power BJT is generally called a BJT, doesn't matter it's a power or BJT. Voltage rating for the IGBT is generally greater than 1 kilovolt. That means it is available at very high voltage rating. On other side, power MOSFET is available less than 600 volt. And the power BJT is also having the less than 1 kilovolt availability. On other side, if you are comparing these three devices in terms of current rating, IGBT is more than 500 amperes. It is high. For MOSFET it is less than 150 amperes. It is low. And for power BJT is less than 500 amperes. So it is kind of moderate. Input for the IGBT is VGE, gate to emitter voltage, which is having a range of 4 to 8 volt. Power MOSFET requires also voltage, that means gate to source circuit voltage, and its range about 3 volt to 10 volt. On other side, power BJT, there is a parameter, it will calculated by the parameter HFE or beta. Base current is decided by the HFE and it will vary from the 20 to 200 because beta is equal to IC collector current divided by base current. So accordingly you will choose as per your need. So IGBT is having the high input impedance because the gate is isolated. Same thing is applied for the power MOSFET. The gate is isolated so that their input impedance is also high. For power BJT it is low. Now coming to the output impedance, IGBT output impedance is low as like BJT, but the power MOSFET is having the medium range. It is not low, it is greater than the IGBT and BJT. Switching speed for IGBT is a medium. We can give the share between the BJT and MOSFET. Maximum up to 50 kilohertz we can use IGBT. Most fastest switch among these three is your power MOSFET. It can operate up to 2 megahertz also. Lowest switching speed we are considering it for BJT here in this table, and cost is somewhat higher for the IGBT in comparison to BJT and power MOSFET. Okay, and for the power MOSFET cost is medium and BJT is low. How we are going to select the IGBT? Firstly, you decide what is the operating voltage of your application. Highest voltage the BJT has to block should be no more than 60% of the VCES rating. VCES rating means the maximum voltage between the collector and emitter terminals with a gate circuit shorted. That means we have connected gate to emitter circuit, and then now we are going to calculate the collector to emitter voltage. Okay, it should not be more than 80% of that. Then you are going to choose whether it is hard driven switch or we are going towards the soft switching, such as zero voltage switching and zero current switching, such as we are going to use it on resonant converters. So punch through type devices is better suited for the soft switching due to reduced trail current. However, we are going to use the non-punch through devices also for this soft switching, but for the soft switching this punch through type devices having the better suitability. And then after we are going to take the current part, what current should flow this circuit in our application. So current that will flowing through the device. For the hard switching applications, we are going to use the usable frequency versus the current graph in order to consider the determination of the device which is suitable for our application. And for the soft switching application, we are going to use the CCC rating. Triple C rating is what? The maximum continuous DC current with the device at its maximum rated junction temperature. It is given in your data sheet. You can find out all the things are given in your data sheet. And according to your application, you can choose your which IGBT is suited for your application. Now you are going to choose what is your switching speed, at what desired switching speed you need for your application. In general, we are going towards the higher switching speed side. So PT pulse through type devices is best choice for this. And again, we are going to choose the usable frequency versus current graph. It can be taken into consideration while dealing with the hard switching. Then we are looking for the short circuit current capability. Is it required or not? Non-pulse through type devices would be needed for the applications such as motor drive, where the switching is moderate, not very high. It is going to a relatively low side. Okay, so non-pulse through devices is more suitable for that. And we are not this switch mode power supplies often do not need any kind of short circuit capability. Now we are moving towards the application side. What we have gathered so many information about the IGBT. Now coming to the application part, where we are going to use this kind of IGBT switches. So IGBT is mostly used in medium to high power application, such as I am going to use it in SMPS, switch mode power supplies. We are going to use it in VFDs, variable frequency drives. These IGBTs are very much applicable for the induction heatings applications. IGBT is also often used in traction loads drives. IGBT is also going to be very popular among the electrical vehicle applications such as electrical cars, electrical trains. It is more often used in these kind of applications. So thank you. It is all for the IGBT side. Now you can, if you have any clarification, please mail me at rds24pe@gmail.com. Thank you.